Good morning, everyone. Nope, not good enough. Good morning, everyone. Much better, much better. Thank you guys for coming today. I'm Ann Nemanic. I'm the Executive Director of Go Laurel Highlands, and you're in for a very busy day today. I hope you have your caffeine, your fruit, your muffin, whatever gets you energized at 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll need it. How many of you remember the bicentennial? Thank you. It's a pretty good hand raising. I facilitated a meeting yesterday, and I think there were 2 of us in the room that remembered the bicentennial. I was 12 years old, and I do have memories of the bicentennials. I remember the parades. I remember the fireworks. I was in the chorus, Kelly, in high school, and I remember the musicals that we did that just really resonated with all of us. It was a time of family. It was a time of community, family reunions, picnics, you name it. Everybody had something going on for 200 years of celebration, a bicentennial. The big thing for the girls were the hoop skirts. We all had different colors. It was really cool. You were swishing and swaying. We never did that before. We wore them to church. We wore them to pageants, down the streets for parades. It was a really special time in our country. 12 years old, and they made us think ahead 50 years from now. What are you going to do? And I thought to myself, I'm going to be old. And I'm still here. I'm very excited about that. I don't feel old. But I did have a little bit of a somber moment because I thought about my mom and dad. And I thought, they're not probably going to be here. My mom passed when she was 96. She almost made it. She was born in 1927. She'd have been 99. And I know 95 was her goal, but I have an inkling and think that she wanted to make that 100 too. But at 12 years old, it was impactful. So today, you need to think about the planning and the process. Yeah, it's all about us and how we're going to celebrate in 2026, but it's also about those memories that we're going to make for that 12-year-old, because we won't be here in 2076. 300 years for this country. Sounds old, but if you traveled, and you've traveled abroad, really young pups in the grand scheme of things. So what you're going to do today really, really matters. Here's why. After my mom and dad passed, I'm from Maryland, I'm transplant. It took me a while to clean out my childhood home. It was hard. But I did it. And the next task I needed to do was go from downstairs to upstairs in a beautiful Cape Cod, went up 12 wooden steps, walked back the hallway, opened the hall closet, and guess what was in the closet? The hoop skirt. My mom kept the hoop skirt in my dress. And so, a moment for me still today, but it meant something to her. And she held on to it, and she probably thought, God help me, I'd never get in a skirt that was hanging in the closet, all the pounds I had on. But it meant something to her, and it meant something she thought to me. So that's what your job is here today. And the woman beside me is our Director of Cultural and Community Connections. Dawn Lamuth is special for a lot of reasons. She has spent a ton of time pulling together today's itinerary and her speakers, but she's one of these people. She brings people together. She brings the right people together. 1 and 2 people, 3 people, organizations that come together with a common cause or a purpose, or maybe they didn't even think about it, but she's the one that said, I'm going to connect this person with that person, and it's going to work. And it does work. This doesn't happen easily. It's just innate, and we're just very blessed to have her here. So hang on. It's a busy day. We appreciate the time. So Dawn Lamuth, today is yours.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who took the time out. I know you have very, very busy schedules, so I do appreciate you all coming together. You probably think that it's a little crazy that we're getting together today to talk about an event that's at least a year away. But there's a lot of opportunity that is presenting itself to us before 2026, and I'd like our region to take full advantage of it. So that's why we're here today. I've been thinking a lot about my core values. And one of my core values, as Ann said, is connection. I think that connection is what really makes all of our lives worthwhile. So today I challenge you, there's a sheet in your folder, but I challenge you to meet someone you do not know. Generally, when we come to these kind of events, we sit with the people we know, we eat lunch with the people we know, we talk to the people we know. I challenge you, and it says on the top of the page to find somebody that has a different color star. Well, I couldn't find stars. I went to 4 different stars, couldn't find stars. So there are no stars. Do not look for stars. But find somebody that you don't know. Fill out that sheet and see if there's a connection that you can make with somebody in a different organization, in a different community, in a different job description, and to see where your Venn diagrams collide. And you might be surprised at some ideas that come up for you. Today's goals are pretty lofty goals. So I've set some pretty high benchmarks for us. My goal for today is to both inform you about what is happening regionally, countywide, statewide, as well as nationally. But I also want to inspire you and empower you, because we're not really getting a lot of direction nationally, statewide. So really the initiatives that are going to happen are going to be on the ground and a grassroots effort. So it's things that are going to be created in your heads and in your connections that are going to make the memories and the experiences for everyone. Obviously, I want you all to connect with each other, meet somebody else, make some connections with other organizations. And I want you to plan and act. So I want to start planting some seeds for action from what you're going to do in your organization. And I feel really fortunate because as I look around, you guys are you're the change makers. You're the people who are directing organizations, connected to your communities, in touch with the people in your sphere of influence. So I'm really excited to have all of you here today. So why celebrate 2026? And kind of in keeping with Ann's hoop skirt story, which put that on the list. I think we might need to bring those back, some hoop skirts. This is a picture from 1976. This was a train engine called the Spirit of 76, I believe is what they called it. And I put that there just as a little inspiration for us, because I want you to think big. I want you to have big ideas. We can always back down from the big ideas. We can always make things smaller, but let's think big. So if you have a train engine and you need to paint it red, white, blue. So the 3 elements for opportunity, I think, are number 1 for community, to bring our communities together, to get people back outside, back attending events, and back talking to each other and making connections with their neighbors and their friends. I want to create a sense of pride of place. People don't necessarily identify with things that are much beyond their own immediate little neighborhood or their own immediate town. I want them to feel a part of the county. I want them to feel a part of the Laurel Highlands region, which, if for anyone in the room who's not familiar with the Laurel Highlands region, it's the 3 counties of Fayette, Somerset, and Westmoreland County. We are a strong region, and I want people to identify that. I want them to think of themselves as Laurel Highlanders. Obviously, I am a mom and a scoutmaster, so kids are always first and foremost in my mind. So I want to create experiences, meaningful experiences for young people, and get them engaged in everything that's happening around them, get them engaged with each other in their communities. I also want to create lasting contributions. So I live in the town of Ligonier, and we've just recently created a committee to make the celebration for 2026 in Ligonier. And one of the interesting facts that I learned at the first meeting was that the Ligonier Educational Endowment was created in 1976 because people came together to celebrate, and that is still in existence today. So I would like to see some lasting things come out of this celebration that will benefit everyone. Revenue, bottom line, even if we're nonprofits, we need to make money. We need to have revenue. So the more visitors we have, the more patronage we have, the more donations we have, and the more revenue we have for our businesses, it's going to help everyone. So we want to attract visitors. We want to make ourselves a destination. And I went to the convening, the America's 250 PA convening in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you, we have a real opportunity. I mean, I don't know if I might be speaking out of turn, but there are a lot of counties and regions that haven't thought about this at all and don't really have anything started. So they're kind of behind. So if we can get out in front of creating a destination for travelers, I actually met with the people from Philadelphia, and I said to them, if you attract the visitors to come see the Liberty Bell and to come to all your activities and all of your big events, send them our way. So that's what we want to do. We want to make ourselves a travel destination for people to come out our way and to make the trip out. I'd like to create and innovate some things. Have some things that haven't existed. And as you're thinking of your ideas, as you're thinking of your programs and your projects and your events, I want you to think of things that are evergreen, that are going to stay with you. So if you start an initiative, I want it to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay. So if you come up with there may be special events that you might start to have on an annual basis or biannual basis. I also think it's a real great touchstone to motivate your employees, your stakeholders, and your volunteers. I know all of us struggle to find volunteers, and this is a way to create some energy and excitement and a sense of belonging to motivate and move some volunteers into your organizations. So lastly, I just ask you, what's on your wish list? What have you always wanted to do as an organization? What have you always wanted to do as a historical site? This might be your opportunity to get things done that you've always wanted to do. So why should we plan as the Laurel Highlands? Why should we try to promote as Laurel Highlands? And the simple answer to that is we are stronger together than we are separately. Our region, the 3 counties, are stronger to attract visitors and to entertain their own citizens if we work together. So it makes sense to me that we plan events as a county, and we each have a county advisor, and I'll introduce them in a moment, but that we promote as a region. So if something's happening in Somerset, I want Westmoreland County people to go to those events. If something's happening in Westmoreland County, I want Fayette County people to come to those events. It's really a great day trip, and it really helps everybody in the long run. Plus, there's some big events happening, and we're not going to be able to do it on our own. So if Somerset's having a big event, they're going to need volunteers from outside of their immediate community to help them. So if we work together, we can all be stronger together. So there are some major events that are happening in Philadelphia, and I just want you to be aware of them, and I don't know if Colin will touch on them as well. Obviously, 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That's why we're all here. But Philadelphia is also going to have the FIFA soccer tournaments. They're also going to have the Major League Baseball All-Star game. They have a PGA championship. So they are literally attracting millions and millions of visitors to Philly. So there's a real opportunity to get people to extend their stay and extend their vacations from there. And then also Pittsburgh will be hosting the NFL draft. And we are very fortunate as an organization, Go Laurel Highlands. We partner with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a very strong alliance with them. And so that will be a real factor for us for the many visitors who will be coming to Pittsburgh, supporting that, leading up to that, and for that event. Why do I think our attractions complement each other? Obviously, we have a lot of history in this area. We have a lot of George Washington connections. And people's love of history and George Washington runs deep, you know. It's really something that people are very, very fascinated with. One of the things I want you to keep in mind as you're planning your events and as you're thinking about things is to always make sure you incorporate some fun into your events. It's very easy to get very serious about things and say we are serious people. We are very well educated, serious people. But we want to have fun. We always want to build some fun into that. And I often say to my scouts, who are very motivated young men and women, that we have to plan for fun. So we have to plan for fun. What does that mean, plan for fun? They say to me, Dawn, what does plan for fun mean? And I say, well, you come to these lists of all the merit badges you want to do and all the things you can, but there's no fun in this list. So we need to plan for fun. We need to allocate some time. We need to allocate some resources to make our events fun, because that's what attracts people. We want to capture our outdoor enthusiasts. More than ever before, people want to get outside. They want to go hiking. They want to go kayaking. They want to explore and have high adventures. So we want to capture those people. We want to create unique experiences. You know, I challenge you to always think about the younger generation. I think of my kids who are in their 20s, and they want to go and do things. They and their friends want to go and have an experience, learn a class, learn something new, go on a scavenger hunt, that sort of thing. And then, of course, we have very rich and probably a little too rich food and beverage industry in our area. So we definitely want to showcase that, and that'll be something that will attract visitors as well. So I'm going to say a little bit about what's happening in Westmoreland County. So I'm in a unique position in the sense that I'm the county advisor for Westmoreland County, but because of my association with the Laurel Highlands, I've been able to try to bring the counties together. So Westmoreland County, we've kind of adopted a theme that's based on the Town results. So if you're not familiar with Town results, you can look them up on the Westmoreland Historical Society's website. But they're a very fascinating document, and their 250th anniversary will be May 16th, 2025. And in a nutshell, the Town results were a group of frontiers people who, after Lexington and Concord, they gathered together and they wrote their protest against what they saw as the tyranny of England following Lexington and Concord. And it's a really fascinating document, and we'd like to celebrate that because this was a very bold step. As far as I've been able to figure out, it is the first written protest following that. There were several after that. Then, of course, you know, a year and so later, there was the Declaration of Independence. But I think it's really remarkable that some people in our area were the first to sign their names to a document that would have been treasonous, would have possibly led to their executions. So it's a really neat thing. So we have adopted kind of the theme of before the Declaration, Westmoreland County had resolve, and we still do. So we're trying to tie the past and the present and the future together to show that we still are a resilient area. We still are a resilient people here. So the ad on the left is running into different publications, and we'll be running it into the first quarter of 2025. I have recreated the Westmoreland 250 events calendar on our website. They're actually fixing it up right now, so it'll be up probably next week. So we'll be able to start adding events onto the Westmoreland 250 calendar right on discoverwestmoreland.com. One of the main things that we want to do as a county is engage young people, get them interested in history, get them interested in their communities. So we're planning to run some student contests. The student contest will be a poster contest for elementary age students, and then a video and essay contest for middle school and high school students. And the theme will be, what does America mean to me? And there will be prizes and participation gifts and things like that for the students who participate. We're working out the technical side of that. Our plan and hope is to have it on a website so that everybody can see the students' work and enjoy their works, and then vote on the vote on the winners for that. Let's see. I'm gonna skip back. I'm gonna skip to Fayette. I don't think we have a Fayette advisor in the ring today. So I'll just quickly tell you what Fayette County is up to. So Fayette County has created a committee and they've started meeting. Their focus right now is in May of 2025. They'll be celebrating Lafayette's 200th anniversary farewell tour. So they're creating a reenactment around Lafayette's visit. He visited Uniontown and Brownsville, Ross Dramer, and Perryopolis. So they're creating some events to celebrate that. And they have a lot of ideas percolating for their 250 celebration as well. And the one thing I would just say to you is, when I say America's 250 in 2026, every time I say that, just think 2025 and 2026. So I'm really thinking we need to have events in 2025 and kind of ramping up into 2026. So every time I say 2026, just add 2025 because that's exactly what I do. So I want to introduce Henry Cook. He is the the advisor to Somerset County for America's 250 PA, and he's going to tell you a little bit about their plans.
How many of you could come up here and give a 5-minute talk about what they remember about 9/11? Yeah. Easily the most dramatic day in American history in the last 50, 70 years. A couple of years ago, as president of the Somerset Volunteer Fire Department, I realized we were coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Now, 9/11 has 3 primary locations, as you all know. New York is all about money. Is that a big surprise to anybody? They couldn't even take the whole site and donate it into a memorial. They had to build money-making propositions there. The Pentagon recognizes today as a failure, so they're not going to do very much. Somerset County is the place where 9/11 will be most remembered, and the National Park people have been fantastic at perfecting that location. 9/11 changed the way America thinks about first responders, and so thinking about this 25th anniversary, it occurred to me that with the National Memorial, we should invite the first responders from Greater New York, Greater Virginia, to come here and together do some things around the National Memorial. And so we started the process of creating that 2 years ago. Then all of a sudden it occurred to me it's also the 250th birthday of America, and they decided that we're going to combine that, so we call it 25-250. The symmetry of that is actually very bizarre. So the first week of August, which is situated halfway between the 4th of July and 9/11, we plan to have a week-long event centered around first responders in Somerset. There are a lot of very interesting things that are cropping up. I have no idea how many fire departments and first responder units are going to come. Some of my committee think it's going to be 500, which is mind-blowing. But clearly there will be several hundred of these coming to Somerset. When you start figuring out how many people that represents, frankly, could fill up all the motels in the region. We are planning a number of events. Probably the highlight event is at the National Memorial. We plan to have a procession from Somerset to Flight 93. At Flight 93, there'll be a candle ceremony and a laser show and maybe even a concert of some sort. That's sort of in the realm of thinking about at this point. We are hoping that would be on a Friday. The Thursday before that, we are hoping to have, how many of you know who Lieutenant Dan is? Isn't that amazing? Gary Sinise is so well known for that part in Forrest Gump. But he has a band, and cross your fingers, there's some indication that he will come with his band and perform at the Jenner Sound Speedway, which I hope many of you know where it's located. But a concert on Thursday, this ceremony of procession out to Flight 93 on Friday, and Saturday a parade, which could be 3, 4, 5 hours through the town of Somerset. That is going to be the centerpiece of what we are doing. Our region is absolutely the bookends of American history, with Fort Necessity, Fort Ligonier, Forbes Road, Braddock Road. We are the gateway to the West. And if you understand American history, French and Indian Wars, the reason the revolution happens. So that is the launch point. And while history keeps layering years on, Flight 93, I would suggest, is the most dramatic event in recent history. So we are the bookends. And the rest of you, Fayette and Westmoreland, you're responsible for the beginning. Somerset County winds up responsible for the back end of that bookend process. Finish with one more thought. As custodians of Flight 93 memory, I've been trying to figure out ways to communicate with younger people. Kids graduating from college were not even alive on that day. How impossible is that? But I've been talking to some high school kids because I want them to engage. And I've said to them, take all of the drama of the pandemic and put it into one day. And that's how your parents and grandparents think of 9/11. And that seems to resonate a little bit. So if you communicate with a young person, try that. I think they'll understand a little bit better what everybody's talking about. So we're very excited about the event, and if it comes off at the scale that we're hoping, we'll need all of your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. And I think he brings up a really great point, and that is, and that is that in addition to America's 250th and the anniversary of the Hannah Sound Resolves, there are many other anniversaries happening at the same time. So I'll just point out a couple of them to you. 2025 will also be the anniversary of the Army and the Navy. So those might be things that you could consider, recognizing or celebrating. I know the Palace is celebrating their 100th anniversary in 2026, correct? Okay. Any other anniversaries that anybody knows of in 2025 or 2026? As they occur to me, I will disseminate them to you. But I think those are also important to to consider coordinating or recognizing them in that way. And I will just mention, I think that the Somerset theme of recognizing first responders is a fantastic theme. I don't think you can recognize those people enough. And they're also looking for volunteers. So anything you can do to work with the first responders at the fire departments in your area is a great thing.
Okay.